that continues to ravage our country and the world. Our law enforcement officers are not only expected to enforce the law without mercy, but also ensure that the level 1 regulations and directions are strictly adhered to. The preliminary figures we are releasing today are a dipstick on the progress we are making towards achieving our 20% target to reduce fatalities this festive season. Over the last few weeks, we have traversed the country, interacting with road users and holiday makers. We undertook high-profile activations in various provinces, at shopping malls and taverns to raise the public consciousness about road safety as part of our intensified Arrive Alive 365 days, 24/7 campaign. Road safety is a collective responsibility. Government, civil society, and road users must all play their part to preserve human life on the road. Targets are meaningless if we do not bring to bear our collective effort to make our roads safer. The peak travel period is upon us, and we expect traffic volumes to spike between today and Thursday, followed by another spike on the 31st of December. The final peak is expected on the 3rd and the 10th of January 2021, as many people will be making their way back to major cities ahead of the reopening of industries and schools. Our statistics demonstrate that our roads were fairly busy during the first peak between 18 and 19 December, despite the prevalence of the COVID-19 pandemic. Over this period, an average of 2,439 vehicles per hour were recorded on the N1 from Gauteng to Limpopo. The N3 from Johannesburg to Durban recorded an average of 1,547 vehicles per hour. This was marginally lower than the same period in 2019. Since the start of the festive season, our law enforcement authorities kept a close eye on vehicle movements and transgressions of the rules. A total of 416 roadblocks were conducted from the 1st to the 20th December, with 166 vehicles having been stopped and checked. A total of 109,529 motorists were issued with traffic fines for various offences. On the other hand, a total of 2,415 vehicles were discontinued, while another 1,801 vehicles were impounded. A total of 2,111 motorists were arrested for various offences. 896 were arrested for drunken driving, 336 for speeding, and 588 warrants of arrest for outstanding traffic fines were served. The highest speed was recorded on the N1 near Ventersburg in the Free State, where a motorist was caught traveling at 242 kilometers an hour. These preliminary statistics demonstrate that the vast majority of motorists are law-abiding citizens who obey the rules of the road. Yet there are those who pay scant regard to the rules and place the lives of others at risk through irresponsible, reckless, and negligent behavior. These are the people who do not deserve our mercy. These are criminals we must throw a book at. Saving life and limb on the road start with each one of us. Speaking up and calling out our friends and relatives when they conduct themselves in an irresponsible manner on the road is a start of an effective behavioral change. It is regrettable that 690 people lost their lives on our roads over the period 1st to the 20th December 2020, compared to 732 over the same period in 2019. While this represents a 5.7 decline year on year, it is no reason to celebrate. One life lost on our roads is one life too many. Equally, the total number of crashes has declined by 8% compared to the same period last year. These fatalities that could have been avoided amplify the pain of those whose loved ones have succumbed to COVID-19 while other relatives perish on our roads. The clarion call made by the President Cyril Ramaphosa to all of us to adhere to the disaster management regulations and directions in order to preserve human life must also inspire us to adopt a similar attitude to the rules of the road. Until every citizen internalizes and accepts that preservation of human life is sacrosanct and supersedes all else, we will continue to cheapen human life through our reckless conduct on the roads. Let us all be our brothers and sisters keepers and be the embodiment of human rights values that are the cornerstone of our nation. It is noteworthy that 6 provinces recorded a decline in fatalities. We are encouraged that these reductions made a positive contribution towards the realization of our 20% target of reducing fatalities on our roads in 2020. Northern Cape recorded a decline of 23.5% with 13 fatalities compared to 17 in 2019. Western Cape recorded a decline of 26.6% with 69 fatalities compared to 94 in 2019. Free State recorded a decline of 28.8% with 47 fatalities compared to 66 in 2019. Gauteng recorded 18.7% decline with 122 fatalities compared to 150 in 2019. Northwest recorded 5.8% decline with 49 fatalities compared to 252 in 2019. KwaZulu-Natal recorded a 3% decline with 131 fatalities compared to 135 in 2019. 3 provinces recorded an increase in the number of fatalities compared to the same period last year. Eastern Cape recorded a 21.5% increase with 96 fatalities compared to 279 in 2019. Limpopo recorded an 18.4% increase with 19 fatalities compared to 76 in 2019. Mpumalanga recorded a 15.9% increase with 73 fatalities compared to 63 in 2019. I wish to convey my heartfelt condolences to the families, friends and loved ones of all those who have perished on our roads. Similarly, I wish a speedy recovery to all those who have been injured on the roads. While it is encouraging to see a decline in fatalities to date, we are still a long way from achieving the 20% target we have set for ourselves this year. I urge all road users to exercise extreme caution as we enter the second phase of our peak travel period. All our law enforcement officers must remain vigilant and intensify efforts to stop the carnage on our roads. Our tactics will include visibility in residential areas and in the proximity of places where festivities occur, in order to deter those who would otherwise be emboldened to drive under the influence of alcohol. In the coming days, we will intensify our focus on hotspots and will continue to ensure that those who should not be on the road are not on the road. We will equally intensify the enforcement of Alert Level 1 regulations and directions without fear or favor. This includes enforcing the curfew for all road users. We have seen videos in circulation of revelers gathering and partying alongside our roads with scant regard of COVID-19 regulations or health protocols. We were equally appalled by video clips of disgraceful behavior by young people in what is referred to as a Dino convoy along the R80 Mabopane Highway into the Dasport Tunnel, who were partying, drinking, and blocking the road in large numbers. This dastardly acts invariably end in tragedy, as was the case with the Mabopane incident. This conduct is unacceptable. Our law enforcement authorities will show no mercy towards people who turn our roads into party spots and disregard either the rules of the road or the COVID-19 regulations. Allow me to express my appreciation and gratitude to all the road safety ambassadors, law enforcement officers, emergency medical personnel, private sector companies, and non-governmental organizations that have partnered with us on this journey towards arresting the carnage on South Africa's roads. Your resilience, commitment, and selflessness are values every South African must emulate in elevating the value of human life above all else and showcasing Ubuntu in action. I wish all of you a safe Christmas and a prosperous New Year. Let us all endeavor to live beyond December and arrive alive 365 days, 24/7, YY. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Minister. Colleagues, we now have an opportunity to ask questions. I'm going to ask my colleague Mutati to just assist in transporting your mic to the relevant person who will answer. Some of the questions, if they are more technical in nature, will be referred to the RTMC, and if they have any reference to this particular roadblock, the chief is here to assist us. Do we have any questions? You want to start the time, Kaya?
Hi, morning, Minister. I am here from PMCA. I just want to understand, Minister, in provinces where there is a persistent pattern of road crashes, this time around, what are you doing different? Because, like you said, that the three provinces recorded an upward trend. So in those provinces, what are you doing?
Thank you so much, Kaya. Sorry, boss. We're just organizing a pen for you very quickly.
Okay. Should we go?
Can we take the next question in the meanwhile, please?
My name is Fikile Mbalula. I think Kaya has appreciated on my point, but the key that I wanted to drive is compliance. As far as compliance, would you say that South Africans are complying or more by them and as well as by law enforcement?
Thank you so much. Can we take the third time? Just give us a second to talk. All right, I think we're good to go. The third question to talk. Over to you.
All right. Okay, so we see that there is an increase here compared to last year, but the official is there. They can really attribute this compared to the pandemic. Is the fact that we are living under this pandemic and people are coming less, and that's why we're not seeing it. How do you
So perhaps let's just close this round. We'll take another round of questions if need be. What would you like to do first?
No, you will
The
answer
advocate
first.
go first?
Yeah.
Thank you, Minister. We have seen an upsurge in the 3 provinces, namely the Eastern Cape, Limpopo, as well as in Mpumalanga. When you look at those upsurges, it will give you an indication that it varies between 21% up to 15%. Why? In such areas, the campaign that we have taken through the provinces, which Minister led ably in those issues, had shown the campaign that the Minister has led together with the MECs and the mayors have shown a drastic and resounding success by the members of the public as well as the road users in responding to such issues. It is a common phenomenon that we know that what increases our fatalities is fatigue, drunken driving, reckless driving, as well as the single motor vehicle overtaking. If you look into the fatalities both in Eastern Cape and Limpopo, the most numbers come from the private vehicles, where people were speeding and the cars overturned. When you diagnose the cause for the overturning of the vehicle, amongst others, it's alcohol. It is also fatigue and speeding. We have seen a difference in this year that as opposed to the minibuses, a number of accidents have happened with a single motor vehicle overturning with 4 or 5 passengers. So it therefore made us to change our strategy to also focus on the private motor vehicles, because those people are also a cause for concern. We are also analyzing the age of the drivers as to when did they get the driver's licenses, where did they get the driver's licenses, because indications are to the fact that some of the drivers are not competent to be driving. I think I've given the picture that also leads to the question asked to Sipho, that what is it that we are doing? And we must not be any illusion. There is more or less same traveling patterns. This after the COVID-19 and the lockdown, a number of people have increased crossing the provinces. They are going back home, they've never been home, and the excitement of doing that has also added in an untold number. The last one was the issue of unroadworthy vehicles. We have now seen an upsurge of unroadworthy vehicles on our roads. That therefore necessitates that we must now deal with the roadworthiness of the vehicles in a more unprecedented way. But our unroadworthiness campaign should not only focus on the public transport. Even the private vehicles are also unroadworthy. I was leaving the others too, but if I have to deal with them, there was a question on the compliance. The issue of the compliance by both the law enforcers and the public. There is still a challenge with the compliance on the side of the motorist as well as the road users. The jaywalking matter has not found response or a suitable response for us, because people still drink and walk onto the road. But the issue of the compliance of other drivers on our road, some of the people have taken advantage of the extension on the validity of the driver's licenses when actually they don't have driver's licenses. Where the figures that we have given in terms of people that have been arrested attest to the fact that a number of people that we arrested are people who don't have valid driver's licenses and those that were speeding on our roads. Thank you.
Mine is just a quick correction of something that I regard as a bit unfortunate. Nowhere in the minister's speech did he claim any victories, any easy victories. I think the employment of such language is unfortunate. Here is the context. We are here as part of accountability, one, and secondly, we do this round about the same time every year to share information with South Africans, which will then inform the strategies that all of us would employ to try and stem this tide. The responsibility for safe use of the roads rests on every single one of us. It's a sad day that we are talking about 690 people who've lost their lives. So, Sipho, it's not something about which we can ever claim any easy victory about. One life is one life too many. Perhaps the way to look at it is to say, what can we, together with the assistance of the members of the Fourth Estate, do differently to educate and make sure that the message is disseminated so that all of us can correct our behavior. What we are dealing with here is more behavioral than anything else. And actually, the contrary is true. The fact that people have not traveled for the better part of the year, in turn, increases the propensity for them to travel. And by implication, the numbers that are going to be crossing through our various roads network is going to be high. And as law enforcement will continue to intensify those efforts, where our efforts have proven empirically not having successful, we haven't been shy to revisit and deploy accordingly. It's a responsibility, Sipho, that we will embrace, and where we have not been successful, we'll accept the responsibility, but it cannot be correct that that responsibility should rest solely on the hands of law enforcement. Every single one of us has a role to play. And we can assure you that we will make sure that the numbers do drop and will account at the end of this festive period. Lastly, the data so far shows almost without fail that all the challenges that we have had are human behavior related. That is a fact. And the people that have also compromised us are pedestrians as well as drivers of small vehicles. And you can accept that law enforcement will be deployed accordingly as we carry this responsibility as a collective. Thank you.
Thank you, the two advocates. Just to amplify the point, South Africans do comply. As you can see, we have a roadblock right behind us. Many people do comply, but equally chance takers are many. People who just wake up and decide that South Africa is a banana republic, I can take my chances. I have said when we launched the Wood campaign, the question was asked, what is its impact? I said the impact will be seen in the statistics. It's a scientific way of looking as to whether the campaigns we undertake are having an impact. And it shows out of the statistics that it is having an impact. But equally, you know that many people are not traveling in numbers as well during this period because of COVID-19. But you know, as the saying goes, in victory, we don't deserve accolades. But in failure, we must be blamed for everything. So indeed, our campaigns and our message is sinking, and it means that people are taking it to heart, and we want them to continue that way. But also it is the work of law enforcement. The deployment is visible, it is everywhere, and it's 24/7. And that is what we're doing differently, because most of the time, law enforcement work from 8 to 4. But now we are working 24/7, wire. So if you think that you will leave midnight at 12 and drive down to Durban and you won't find law enforcement, that is unfortunate, because law enforcement is on our roads at 24/7, and that is what is totally different. And this is one mechanism we've been working on. As we say, people and the movement of people and the economy is growing, that transport must operate 24/7. It means equally law enforcement will have to operate 24/7 going forward. So most of our citizens are compliant, and they are really looking after themselves. And I'm very much encouraged that even the traveling is happening during the day. Most of the time you will see that people are traveling at night and they are heeding the call to drive during the day. It's only law breakers who are traveling at 12 o'clock, who say that when the sun rises, I want the first traffic cop, when he report for work, I must have arrived where I'm going. And in this particular instance, majority of our people have heeded the call. This success, where do we attribute it? We attribute it to the messaging, the visible campaign, but equally the partnership we've got. The media, yourselves, you have been spreading the message and helping us to spread the vibe of positive, vibe in terms of driving on the road. The Hood campaign, Hood for Life, which we are continuing with it, Arrive Alive campaign, can be attributed to all of those measures. Our partners who come to the party, and this year we have had a lot of people coming to the party to support us, and this is what is important. As you can see in terms of the statistics, we've got from the 1st of December above 1,000 cars, 1,500 cars streaming into KZN, and we expect that number to rise. As much as people are not going to the beaches and all of that, but they are holidaying under COVID-19. So in this particular instance, we have seen a number of those particular cars streaming into KwaZulu-Natal. And we still have got a big challenge with vehicles that are not roadworthy. And those vehicles need to be impounded without mercy. And that is what we will actually be doing. So we're not stopping the visibility. We're going to intensify our efforts. But the result look good as compared. But 600 people dead on the road, it's not a small number. Just in December, in this period, we've got 600 people who perished on the road. Perished, gone. So we can't be happy with that. We want those numbers to go down. And we need to increase our efforts on the road. The Mickey Mouse reckless behavior we have seen in Mabupani, where people were dancing on the road and all of that, it's not going to be allowed next time. It's not going to be allowed. That party will be the last we have seen. And then there is going to be confrontation with law enforcement. Who's on Nuki rubber bullet? I've seen somebody saying, "I rubber bullet, ishaya ganjani," preparing for anarchy on social media. Now, we can't allow that. We want our people to behave. and to behave responsibly. We are not imposing things on people. This is a partnership. The reason we're progressing like this is because the message is sinking. Somebody there now understands that when I'm drunk, I must not come close to a car. Yes, when you are drunk. There are people who get drunk and then they drive around. When they still have got options of using e-hailing system to travel around. Just a short distance, thinking that no, there are no police, I can do the backyard traveling and all of that, and then you get yourself involved in an accident. Just in Johannesburg, check around how many robots have suffered. It's drunkards. They bump into robots and then they run away. And that is what they do. So the effort, when I conclude in terms of law enforcement, to amend the law, it's proven that we are right. 0.0% of alcohol in your blood. That's where we are heading to. And then deal with reckless drivers. We are going to introduce this coming year the demerit system. I know other people don't agree with it, but your drivers will be taken away. There will be consequences for those who drive recklessly and are not qualified to drive on the roads. And we will also improve the capacity and the capabilities of our law enforcement. Body cams to deal with those who take on the road, so that they themselves, full time, they have been policed when they are on our roads. So these are the things that we want to do going forward. And even those who do car spinning and so on, we have to deal with that. But thank you very much, and this shows good work, but it's not yet Uhuru. We've got 600 people who have died thus far, and we can reduce the number further towards the 31st of December. So we call on South Africans to continue to be on the alert and drive responsibly on the road. When you are tired, after 2 hours, take a break. Do not drive at night, especially when it is raining. And then let us cancel reckless driving. We have taken this campaign to the townships, talking to our people deep in Soweto. We just come back from KZN. Yesterday we were just impounding cars that are illegal, minibus taxis. A car, it is a Volkswagen, but it has got an engine of a tractor. So we have actually impounded those vehicles in KwaZulu-Natal. And that is very, very, very rife in KwaZulu-Natal, this sort of a thing. But our efforts are paying dividends, and we can reduce the carnage from 600 even lower towards the 31st of December. We still say, arrive alive and look after yourself and keep being responsible. It's not the responsibility of the police and government to look after us when we ourselves can look after ourselves. And let us continue to make this a collective responsibility. Collective responsibility starts with you. When you jump behind the wheel of a car, ensure that you are qualified, but at the same time, you are fit and proper. Fit and proper, just like one team I know they called Orlando Pirates. Fit and proper to drive a vehicle. And then if you are not fit and proper, you will be relegated. And that is what is going to happen. So I don't want people to be relegated in terms of dying on the road. Let's avoid the relegation and ensure that we are fit and proper to compete on the roads and drive safely. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. Thank you, Board Chair, and thank you, CEO. Colleagues, I don't envisage we have any further questions. A Xhosa soundbite for SABC. Anybody else? A live after you're done. Okay, that can be arranged. But can we do a quick soundbite for Xhosa?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right. Would you like it here?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just do a quick one for SABC colleagues and then we can disperse thereafter.